This morning I woke up after a really turbulent dream where some crazy things were happening, and you know when you wake up and you don't know whether that thing has happened or not, whether it's real or not, and you're still in that state of confusion, and then that state of confusion just stays with you, and then you get out of bed and then suddenly you're gripped with these weird feelings and you just feel like you've woken up the wrong side of bed and your heart's racing and your stomach feels tight and your head feels foggy. Anyway, I was explaining this feeling to Toby and he said, "Oh, that sounds like anxiety." And then I realised that that's not a normal feeling for me. It's so alien for me to feel anxiety. So just in that moment, obviously I deal with clients who are anxious all the time. I help people with their feelings of anxiety. I thought I knew what anxiety felt like, but this morning when I felt like everything was being squeezed out of me, my head was just in a very negative space. I felt completely overwhelmed. I felt completely out of control. My body was reactive. My mind was problem focused. And I truly understood what that felt like. And then I suddenly thought, I was going to swear, but you know what I'm going to say next. If this is what the majority of my clients are waking up with and going to bed with and sort of having to deal with for pretty much most of their day, I have no words for that. So it gave me a real insight to that world of anxiety, because I don't know why. I don't normally feel like that. But there is a few things going on in my life at the moment that would contribute to these feelings of anxiety and stress, which I don't really need to share because I'm dealing with them. But the thing I wanted to share was this maybe appreciation for true anxiety and how it really does feel. Anyway, so it got me thinking about how I would deal with it today. I have clients to see all day long, so I really couldn't start seeing my clients in that state. I had to quickly shift out of that state. So what I did first was I wrote a story, because that's how I deal with things. I write things down, and then it kind of just turned into a story about anxiety. And I wanted to share that story with you today because I think it might help, because it helped me, because now I'm not feeling anxious anymore. I feel fine again. And, you know, I want to share with you how I did it. And I'm not saying this is the right way. This is your way. This is my way. But I'm hoping that the story resonates with you if you ever wake up feeling anxious and spiraling out of control and you don't know what to do. So get yourselves comfortable and let's begin. Once upon a time, there was a lovely lady called Annie. And in the depths of Annie's mind, there lived a tricky character named Anxiety. Anxiety could be as quiet as a shadow or as loud as a storm, but it always had the potential to grip her tightly, leaving her feeling completely out of control and overwhelmed. Annie understood that anxiety was not an all-powerful force, but simply a passing state. When anxiety visited her one sunny morning, she decided to employ a simple technique. Breathe, feel, breathe, feel. She allowed anxiety to be as it is. She observed it without judgment and said, "Welcome, anxiety. As she continued to breathe and feel, a transformation occurred. Anxiety, which was once fierce, began to dissipate like a morning mist in the sun's warmth. It no longer had its fierce grip on her, but it flowed through her. Annie leaned into that flow, and in that leaning, she also learned the power of surrendering to her own thoughts and her own emotions. Anxiety was not an unbreakable chain, but a state that could be observed, acknowledged, and released. By practicing the simple act of breathing and feeling and feeling and breathing, eventually she found her way into inner peace. And from that day on, whenever anxiety knocked on the mind of her door, whenever anxiety knocked on the door of her mind, she welcomed it in, knowing it would eventually move through, and in moving through, it would leave a solution in its path. That solution was the golden nugget of what it needed to give her. Anxiety's gift, when you allow it to pass through, leaves a solution behind. And she would like to share this wisdom with her clients. Annie, Dipti. So sharing this helpful tip for me, hopefully, is a helpful thing for you to hear today. Much love.